Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I wanted to show you template number 10. So there are quite a few petal styles that I haven't released yet, just for whatever reason, so I'm trying to go back and actually get through them, film them, and then release them. And with every video, I just want to say really quick, I try to present something different. I don't want to make the same exact videos where I'm just using the same technique and putting the flower together, but one thing I do want to say is with every template you can make different sizes and you can do different styles. And so you can mix and match the petals so that it creates a different look. You can add more petals per layer or more layers per flower to give it a different look. And for template 10, I just wanted to show two looks that I have here. And the one that I'll be making today is this one here on the left, I'm hoping. I'm filming, so I don't know if it's reversed, but it's on my left. And so there's a slightly different technique, and I'll mention that later on, but this is the flower I'll be making, and I just wanted to show two different styles that you can make with the same template just by adjusting slightly how you make the petal and the flower centers. So I'm going to move these off to the side and get started. So to start, I have a 4-inch white circle. It doesn't have to be white. White is a paper color I have a lot of, and so that's what I have. And this is template number 10. It kind of looks like template number 7 that I've used for the daisy and the sunflower, although it's wider on top and more pointy. It's less narrow. So this is good for sort of a pointy flower if you have an arrangement with a lot of round flowers, roses, or any other flower. It's good to add in something that has more of, well, what I mean by pointy is something like this where it's still round, obviously, but it doesn't have round petals all throughout. So this creates more texture in the overall look, and it creates more visual interest. So I have 16 of these large petals here, and I've already prepped them. That's why they look this way. I'm hoping that the video is much shorter because of that. But I have 16 of this large one. It's 7 inches in height. I have 16 of this one in 6 inches height, and then I have 12 of this one in 5-inch height. I will include the width measurements edited into the video. I can't remember them off the top of my head. And you'll see that I've already prepped these just to save time in the video, but I'll show you what I do. And I just simply take my bone folder. I will edit in the actual spelling, but this is just a tool that I use to curl the petals. You can use anything that you want. The most similar tool that I remember someone sharing with me is a butter knife. So I just use this to curl my petals. And so with this petal here, all I do is I go down the middle, put my finger in the back, and then I just pull away, and that creates a curve into the petal. Then I turn around and I just curl it the opposite way with the bone folder underneath. And then I sort of, doing it that way can make too much of a curl. It curls in too much, so sometimes I will just sort of smooth it out. You can use, if you have a glue stick or maybe a thick marker, like a thick Sharpie or Crayola marker to roll around the edges. You do not need a bone folder, but that's just what I used. And what I wanted to say really quickly, again, I'm just trying to add in different things to the video so that it's not always just the same thing. You don't have to make the flowers the way that I'm making it. You can vary it slightly to get the look that you want, and I actually encourage that. So I'm not going to be, in the black flower, I'm not going to be doing anything else to the petals other than gluing them. But one thing you can do is you can add that curl, and then you can take a pair of scissors and then add a slit in the middle. This one's about 2.5 inches. and you can glue the two flaps together, generally like I do with the other petals that I have on in my YouTube videos on my channel. And then the difference here is that when I'll glue these without that slit, the petal lays flat, a lot flatter relative to the background, the wall, or the table, but this one will sit up higher. And overall, it's not a huge difference in look, but it can add to it. And I'm going to bring back the flowers that I had shown you in the beginning, sort of illustrate that. So this is, excuse me. So the maroon color flower is the one with the slit in the middle and the petal is raised a bit by doing that. And then the black one does not have that. So it just gives a slight difference in look. If you are creating a backdrop with flowers that are taller, you may want to use something where the petals are also lifted, like in this maroon flower. And if it doesn't really matter and you want it to stick out less from the wall or have less of a height in terms of how high the petal or the flower rises, then you may also stick with just this black one. One difference is it does take quite a bit more work to cut that slit in the petal and then glue them and then also glue them. So it's just an extra step. It has a slight difference in look with the petal, and that's something that you can think about when you're creating your own. Personally, I do like the flowers raised a bit. The petals raised a bit, but another thing to think about is that then it creates a lot of space underneath. So if you're making a backdrop, you may have to think about filler flowers in between the spaces where the petals are lifted. Otherwise, you might see more of that background, whatever it is, whether it's wood or insulation board. You may have to create smaller flowers to get in between underneath so that the wall looks fuller. So just different considerations to keep in mind when you are making your flowers. Personally, I like that packed in look, and I don't like spaces in between. So I would prefer to go with something like this and then have filler flowers. But if you're short on time and you want to make a flower really quick, you do not have to take that extra step and cut that slit and then glue them and then glue the petals. So this is just perfectly fine. So getting on to actually putting the flower together. So here's my circle and here are my petals. So to put together a flower, it's very, very basic. I like to do 2 layers of 8 petals. And I like to start by gluing the petals this way so that I have them evenly spaced. I'm gluing them about 3/4 of an inch in to the circle. With regards to the circle base, you want to choose one that's actually smaller than you think you'll need. If you are choosing a larger base, excuse me, it will be a wider flower and it might look too spaced out. Excuse me. So the next what I'm going to do is then I can fill in that space there. There are, quite a few considerations when making the flower. So the bases, the side of the base can be something you can vary to get different looks. So as I showed you with the black flower earlier, I liked it a little bit packed in. But if you want it to look looser, like the overall flower to look less bunched up in the middle, then I would use a larger base. And also, what I'm going to do is I like to, first of all, I have 1 layer of 8 petals, and then I can glue another layer closer towards the center so that you see that in between these 2 petals, this one is more towards the center. It looks like a shorter petal. But if you want a rounder looking flower, I would just add another layer like you did before, just offset a little so that it looks rounder. That's something different you can do too. You do not have to use 16 petals, you can use 8 and then just use another 8 of a smaller size. But for this particular flower, I do want it to have 2 layers of 8 at the same height, or glued at the same height, I should say. For this for this flower, I also used a circle base just because it's easier to cut out. But if you wanted to, you can use an octagon to help you with placement. It's not that much of a difference. Alright. So now you can see if I drew a circle, it would be close to a perfect circle. I mean, it still would have before. The way I'm phrasing it sounds a little silly, but it's a fuller circle, I should say. And then now I want to do my second layer. I'm sorry, my third layer, but with my second size petals. And what I mean by in between is I want to go in between the petals from the previous layers, the 2 layers, and have that shorter petal in between so it looks even all throughout. Overall, it is a large number of petals, so if you don't want to do it exactly this way, you can use less petals but get a similar look. It just won't look as full. That's something to think about if you are on a time crunch. Now the last thing to do is add in the center. So what I used in this black flower was a foam or styrofoam center with glitter on it, and I'm just going to add glue to the back and then stick it on. Now what I did ask on Instagram if anybody wanted a tutorial for this center, and so I will be making one. It's just really quickly, I've added Mod Podge to it so that the glitter does not rub off. But I'll do a really quick video. And then once that dries, that's the flower that you get. I'll add this one in the back of the shot too. So let me know if you have any questions below, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.